watched Ireland's property boom swiftly turn to a market of doom and gloom. Have a look at this.
Times, perilous times perhaps. But
the central bank also has bad news for homeowners, suggesting house prices haven't finished falling.
House prices have now fallen for the second consecutive month. In money terms, it means that average house prices have fallen by €4,460 in 2 months alone.
It's getting harder for first-time buyers. The property market in Ireland is coming down to earth.
Jane is here, and do you know, I remember a few years ago us sitting on this exact same couch talking all about wonderful properties, buying here, buying in Spain, and now it's it's really scary out there. It's scary for sellers.
That, I'm not sure what programme I'm on. Am I on the afternoon show?
Yes. It's just real life. It's like, I mean, it is scary. Yeah. There's so many houses out there that I'm seeing with for sale signs up, and they have been up for a long, long time.
Yes, we're in very interesting times. We have discussed over the years, yes, about all the wonderful properties you can buy, and there was a crazy frenzy going on. The market has realigned. It is correcting itself, and the country currently is in negative equity, so the budget we're seeing right now is a survival budget.
Well, what was the biggest things that you took from the budget yesterday in terms of property?
Well, I suppose, I mean, obviously I'm keeping my eye on the property end of things. I mean, as Tina already pointed out just 5 minutes ago, and I'm going to say it again, tax relief is up 5% for first-time buyers, up to 25% for the first 2 years, and then down by 2.5% for the consecutive following 3 years. Now, typically, just to give you an example, that's about €1,000 a year in relief on a €400,000 mortgage, OK? Now, whether that will entice buyers to come back to the market or not is, let's wait and see,
OK,
to be honest with you.
Well, I was just going to, I mean, in terms of, I suppose, mortgages, I mean, the good news is it is probably a buyer's market out there. If you had the money in place, if you had an approved mortgage.
Look, let me tell you something. If we went, there's never been a better time to buy, both at home and abroad. I mean, if you've got your finance in place and you're ready to go out and do a deal. And the great thing about that is, for anybody who's watching, is that, number one, you are going to be completely in control. The agent is no longer in control and the vendor is no longer in control. It's your opportunity to go out and do a deal. And people are still worried by what houses are being valued at or what they're being advertised at. Believe me, those prices are not cut in stone. You can still go out and there's still a few bob off any of the prices that are out there.
How far down do you think it's going to go?
Oh, well, actually, that's a really good question. The European Central Bank said recently enough, in the last month or so, that property had realigned itself to 30% less than at the end of 2006. Right? Now, to me, that means that probably the bottom of the market is very, very close. And as I said, none of the prices are cut in stone, so there's still going to be a few bob off those prices. But nobody really knows. I mean, it's like crystal ball gazing. But I would think there's great value out there now. I mean, for example, particularly in the city, when you had agents who were valuing property at about €1,000 per square foot, that basically meant that if you had a house that was 1,000 square feet, it was being valued at £1,000,000. Now they're valuing it at about 700, 750. So that gives you your 30% off.
Which is great for the first-time buyers who have the mortgage, but not good for everybody else. I mean, if you're the person that's... I was talking to somebody this morning that's trying to sell an apartment. You know, they have a family, they're trying to... Upgrade. They don't have enough room where they are at the moment, but thankfully they have a house, or they have an apartment. And somebody's coming to buy it and view it, and they're pushing them down and pushing them down. They've had one viewer in months. And they're pushing, exactly what you're saying, it's the buyer's market. They're pushing their price down, and the negative side is it's very difficult for a seller.
The reality of that is that very few people are going to sell their property if it means that they're going to go into negative equity.
Yeah.
Lots of people will do deals to get out of the property that they're currently in order to move on. Now, the thing about it is, somebody made a comment this morning about a property that had been reduced, say, for example, by €600,000. €700,000, actually. The property was originally €700,000. And they said they've lost an awful lot of money. Now, if they bought the property 20 years previously for €100,000, they've lost absolutely no money. There's still quids in, and there's still lots of people out there in that position. Unfortunately, what's happened in the last 5 years is that a lot of first-time buyers bought with 100% mortgages, That's another day's questioning about who's to blame for that. Bought with 100% mortgages and now find themselves in negative equity.
Yeah, and
that's very, very sad, and that's
tough.
A really long waiting game.
And houses starting to be repossessed. Okay, let's talk about selling, though. Is there any point selling your house at the moment? Is there any point having your house up on the market at the moment?
Well, look, if you still made money on your property despite the reduction, despite the correction of, say, 30%, sure.
Okay.
If you want to move, of course there's still a point, because it's all relative. If your property's been reduced by 30%, or 35%, any other property that you're going to be looking at has been reduced by precisely the same margin. So if you can manage to get your house away and it still gives you enough money to move on, of course it's worth it.
You're wonderful. You're the most positive person I know. You're the first smile that I've brought in. Tell everybody about this.
Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. Negativity is not an option. Talk to me about this trade secrets. You're going to help people that are trying to sell their house at the moment.
Well, look, what I want to do for any viewer out there who's had their property on the market for a number of time is for a little while or for a long time, is to help them rebrand their home for sale, i.e. make their home look like quite a different place.
Right.
Now, I have done this personally on at least 3 occasions. And the interesting thing, even about my own buying and selling history, is that even when we were in boom times, I didn't actually sell my property quickly at all, which actually, in actual fact, was a great lesson for me. And research has shown that if your house is on the market for a long period of time, i.e. 8 to 12 weeks, psychologically there is negativity going to be thrown at it. And potential buyers, even though they haven't viewed the property, may say, God, there's something wrong with that house because the board's been up for such a long time.
Okay.
So what we're going to say to people is, take the board down for a little while, rebrand your house and then remarket it in a way that is going to attract new potential buyers.
Well, this is something you did. I remember on the show last year, Frances Donoghue, she was in Cork. She had her house on the market, I think, for 20 months. Just have a quick look at this, what you did.
Morning, Frances.
Hello, Liz.
Nice to see you.
And you too.
Brisk morning in Mallow.
Nice and nippy out here.
Listen, you have some big house.
Yes, it is a very big house.
And then the one thing that just struck me was that. See your chimney stack? I would paint that.
I've never even noticed the chimney stack, but I can see.
You need to paint the skirting boards, the dado rails, the banisters here, leave the handrail timber, the architraves and the doors, and then you're just going to pull this whole hole together.
Okay.
Okay. You need a bit of a decluttering job going on here. Now, if I was showing a house, if I was selling my house and I've sold a few in my time, I have nothing on the workspaces. Everything is gone. Are you feeling all right?
Oh, you've made it easy.
Oh, gosh, you haven't even started to tackle it yet. But anyway.
Brilliant. So Frances is on the line at the moment. Hello, Frances.
Hello there, Shana.
Hello there. Did you make all the changes that Liz suggested?
I did actually make almost all of them, plus a few extra ones on the phone afterwards.
Good on you. And tell me, what's the situation now?
Unfortunately, I've just had a sale that has fallen through because my buyers lost their mortgage offer.
Okay, so that's...
But the deal is still on the table. The house, although the house is on the market, I'm quite hopeful for something happening soon.
So the deal started to go through. I know your house had been on the market for 20 months before this. It started to go through, so it was all looking positive, and then all this hit.
Yes, which has nothing to do with the house or the changes, of course. It's just the market. I've got to say the response has been amazing, actually, to people who have come and viewed the house. So positive. Everybody's been so impressed.
Okay, so it is. Thank you for that, Frances. It is about, it is tough times. You can't guarantee anything, but it is about making your house stand out against all the rest.
Frances did as she was told. Okay. She got new potential buyers in, and she does have an offer that's on the table. Fingers crossed they'll get their second-time mortgage approval, and Frances will be on her way. She needs to get to the UK.
Okay, thanks for that, Liz. Thank you. Okay, for everybody at home, has your house been on the market for what feels like a lifetime, a bit like Frances? Well, we want to throw you a little lifeline with our Liz. She's going to come out and give you a little bit of expert help. We all need a lifeline at this point. She has some inside trade secrets. She's going to give you all those tips and hints that she did with Frances and other things that she has up her sleeve to try and help you sell that home you're so desperately trying to sell. We need a photograph of your property. We want your name and address, all your contact numbers. Send it to this address. It's Trade Secrets, The Afternoon Show, RTE, Donnybrook, Dublin 4. Emails@theafternoonshow.ie. You can send it all in there. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Sinead.
Let's go back to the kitchen with Bláthnaid.